Perfect. Well, hello everyone. I'm Javier Tejera. I'm Senior Learning Design and Technology Advisor at the Edinburgh Futures Institute here in Edinburgh, and also co-leading the AI for Teaching Innovation project. First of all, two warnings. This is a non-Moodle project, so I'm not going to be talking about Moodle. And second one, I have a lot to cover, so I'm going to speak very fast. The advice was, Javier, please speak slow. I said, no. I could cover less and speak slower, but I said, no, gonna go fast. So this is the project team, and well, this is the project, is the AI for Teaching Innovation. It's led by Professor Chambane. She does a lot of research on education futures, utopia, and theories of enhancement. I will struggle with that word. Very interesting work. If you are interested in all these critical ideas about digital education and the future of education, speculative research is very interesting. Then that's me, is there in the picture. Although I'm a senior learning technology and design advisor in this project, effectively I'm more like a weird product owner sort of thing, because it's not exactly product owner, because we don't sell stuff, but it's kind of that thing. And then we have the developers, excellent, young, talented team is Anna Capron-King, Kokulan Thangasutham, and Yvonne Ding. As he said, well, I'm in Edinburgh. You're here already 3 days, but welcome to Edinburgh. That was actually a test, because I'm going to put a video. I wanted to make sure that it works, because many times it doesn't. So, okay, what we do, I said it's a non-Moodle project, but basically what we are doing here is creating full stack web applications. We use React. I heard a little bit of React the last few days. It's basically the Next.js framework, for those of you who know that sort of thing. Here are a few screenshots. I'm going to show you a demo at the end. Also, another disclaimer. I think this project, technically speaking, from a technological point of view, is nothing spectacular. It's like developers here, you all will be able to do these applications. It's nothing. But what is really interesting, and all of the people agree in this project, is the process. How we are collaborating with the students, with teachers, how we are creating a bottom-up approach. I think is really where the value is. And it's not me who's saying that, is everyone agrees on that. The developers, the advisory group, so I just wanted to say that. Before that, just a little bit of the rationale of the project. I said that we are in the, Edinburgh Futures Institute. This is the Edinburgh Futures Institute that used to be an old hospital, and the restoration is spectacular. You can go if you want, because it's very beautiful. And these are kind of the main two questions that drives the project. So one is, how might generative AI help us develop new and interesting ways to teach? And how might generative AI be used to develop creative and practical ways of doing teaching differently? How did this project born? So I remember when ChatGPT was released, I said, okay, I'm going to ask a question. I was teaching at the time. I just worked 2 days and a half at the university, but I don't teach. I'm not a lecturer, but I teach elsewhere. So I said, I'm going to ask questions about the topic I'm teaching. And I was reading, it was like, this is very cool, because I already knew GPT-2, and it was very clunky, but with GPT 3.5, it was actually, wow, this is, it makes sense what he's saying. But then I paid close attention, and it was totally wrong. The responses were totally wrong. So then what I was doing is copy-pasting into forum discussions that sort of responses and asking the students, what do you think about this? Do you agree or disagree? So they actually had to have kind of a critical, I was using it that way. But then I thought, what if I can also add personalities? What if I can also create my own errors, my own built-in bias? What if I can have drop-downs or many other things and try to have a bit more interactivity or things like that? And so I started to explore that, but in the university, things take a lot of time. So I had the freedom of doing it not in the university, but at the university I was in parallel trying to drive this. So it's a lot of work. You have to do a lot of data protection as impact assessments. Well, all of you working in the university know how these things work. But talking with teachers and other people, there was one teacher that was quite interested in doing something. So we created a very small app that is just very simple. So you see, it's kind of a role-play chat. There are 4 users, and then there are user roles that you see here. The government official, the community activist, the NGO worker, the corporate director. And this was created so you can interact with each of them. This is the activist. And this was used as a kind of trying things and see what happened if you use these tools. This was using a heritage course about policy. The idea was to understand different power, different stakeholders, different interests, etc. And it was very interesting. This wasn't a project at the time, so I thought, what not? I spoke with one student because he sent me an email after the session, and I said, oh, that's very cool what you're saying. Can you just capture it in a video so I can share it? So I'm going to bring a student here, and let's see what they think about it. It's just 1.5 minutes.
My name is Coleman Tharp, and I'm studying Cultural Heritage Futures at the Edinburgh Futures Institute. I'm sharing a few key observations of my cohort's experience with the role-play chat. First and foremost, it's incredibly easy to use. The experience of chatting is consistent with texting a friend or using a customer service chatbot from the bank or telephone company. If I'm a little nervous about what this technology does, one of the main barriers to entry is already gone because I go to the page and immediately know what I'm looking at and what to do next. Being able to get started immediately without going through additional barriers or paywalls is really crucial when time is of the essence. When using this tool, my team was able to iterate through more ideas and arguments in less time than if we had created them ourselves, which allowed us more time to focus on higher order analysis and synthesis. So in this context, we quickly created arguments and negotiated a compromise between the different actors, and then shifted our focus to unpacking the assumptions underlining each of the personas. So using the actors' responses, we looked for what resources available online they used to create their positions, and even fed to them new information to see how it would interact with their basic assumptions model. So overall, working with the role-play chat was a really quick and fun way to engage the entire cohort in a project-based analysis activity. We really enjoyed discovering how the ways in which different groups interacted with the personas produced different outcomes, which also widened our critical curiosity with this tech. So thank you for allowing me to share my experience with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing more projects like this.
Thank you. Well, you see, the feedback is actually really cool to hear. There is a lot to unpack in there. So after all these experiences, I was doing all of this on the side. We didn't have any funding. I just requested an API key. I started to build interfaces. We didn't have funding at all. But then, thanks to all of this, we got funding, and now we turned into a project. So I spoke with Champagne. We created this project. She obviously is leading on the big ideas. And we have here some big ideas that are driving this project. So one of them is this idea of consumption versus production. Most of the teachers, the vast majority of them, are software consumers. They are not software producers. So when you consume software, there are some assumptions already in the software, some interfaces. It's very typical to say, oh, wouldn't it be great if I had a button that could do that? No, we are always constrained by the technology. It's also this discussion that many times I'm pretty sure if I ask, does it go pedagogy first or is technology? I'm pretty sure most of you will say it's pedagogy. But that sometimes I understand that, but sometimes it represents that technology actually has a big impact on pedagogy, quite a big. So it's not like technology goes first or pedagogy. They mutually shape each other. No, it's all the time, because also at the same time, the technology changes based on requests or customizations. So it kind of goes both ways. And that's not even, you have to put into the mix the context, values, purpose, institutional culture, many things that impact in digital education. The previous session from Irina, from UCL, there was a slide with a lot of different things that was impacting the digital education implementation. That was a very good thing to think this a bit more holistically. And there is a paper from Tim Fons that is called Entangled Pedagogy that talks about all of this that I definitely recommend you to read. It's very good. This relates as well to this idea of top-down versus ground-up. Normally, when a teacher uses software, it's something that is imposed. The reality is that they don't have a lot of choice, especially in big institutions. You just have a list of software that went through a procurement process, very long, takes time, and you can use those software. Some people might be creative, might have the freedom, but that's not the case for the majority of teachers. So what we want to do is a ground up, just really focus on a teacher and say, okay, you, teacher, in this particular context, in this particular course, what would you want to do? So we want to do kind of an AI model ground up, very super, that sounds weird, very contextualized. Hope everything's making sense. My God, I have so much to cover. Then homogeneity and context specific, it relates to the previous one. I'm gonna show you at the end a little bit what I mean by that. Then this idea of fast hype versus slow reflective. So we want to create something that is slow, but not in a negative manner, something that is reflective, that we can really have just reflection on it, because we're seeing a lot of AI in the world. It's a lot of rubbish out there. I mean, I don't know if you realize, but there is plenty of rubbish. I mean, I don't know. So what if we just take it a step back and think a little bit and do proper research and see what it works or what doesn't work, no? And be critical about it and improve things. Because there are many things, many products that, well, I better don't say my opinion because maybe I'm going to get banned next year. So just, I think the last part, this idea of big edtech versus mini edtech, it captures very well the essence of the project. So we are thinking the project kind of a mini edtech type of lens. So very contextualized, minimal, etc. All the things that I explained. Related to hype, research, etc., you are seeing that there is a shift in universities from last year to this year, perhaps. We went from this captivation, adaptation, adoption, to a phase of more evidence, critique, acceptance, but also opposition. There is a lot of skepticism and right opposition, as I think it should be. There are some narratives in education, like improving outcomes, efficiency, inevitability, inclusion, accessibility, that can be also challenged as well. There are many papers that are actually starting to come up now that are saying, actually, all the promises you are telling me about AI, not quite. It's not quite working. So we have, for example, this paper. Sorry, this is the theoretical bit. So it's just a couple of references there. It says AI tools in society impacts on, well, you can read the title there, but it says here, if this works, I don't know. Yeah. The findings reveal that a significant negative correlation between frequent AI tool usage and critical thinking abilities mediated by increased cognitive offloading. So we need to reflect a lot on things, no? Because we have also now a lot of summarizers. Everyone is adding summarizers for the students. The discussion perhaps, does that have an impact? Are we prescribing a certain education future? Probably it's good. I think it's good in some contexts, of course, but it's good to be really, really critical about it. However, on the other side, we also have this one that basically says the absolute opposite. You see here, the results indicate that ChatGPT has a large positive impact on improving learning performance. And the suggestions here, it says like, oh, you definitely should be encouraged to use it. You need to use continuous. This paper, I'm pretty sure a lot of you read it because it was viralized in LinkedIn and many parts. It was highly contested. The methodological flaws are pretty big. All the academic community really criticized it. And what we are seeing now is this in AI and education, that there is good research, bad research, and ugly research. So the good research is proper research with science behind it, with methodologies. Bad research is basically this paper on the right, in this particular case, and we see that a lot. We see, it's crazy if you, anyway. And then we have even the ugly science of education, that what we have is just AI-generated papers that doesn't add really any value. Our people are actually believing in them, like they are being viralized. That's very concerning. As a very funny example, which is very sad, I think it was last month, there was a report on Canada about the ethical AI use in education that had AI-generated references. So ethical AI use of education with fake, I mean, what is this? Everything is becoming, well, I cannot spend more time on talking about efficiency, for example, but efficiency is a very interesting one because we're having the promise that with a button we will have everything, a course generated, but there are some papers coming up as well that says that actually maybe all the tweaks that you need to do, the repro, the whole thing, maybe takes more time than if you just do the work yourself. A paper from Neil Selwyn just published just a few months ago that they interview school teachers in Canada and Australia. Basically, that's the conclusion. So why I'm saying all of this? Just to be cautious and be critical about the tools we use. That's all I'm saying. I'm pretty sure there is very good stuff out there, but there is plenty of rubbish as well. So with all of this in mind, so what we are doing, because we're not just criticizing, we're trying to create a model. So we are doing, as I said earlier, like mini applications, full stack apps, but quite small. These are some of them. This is a cross-university project. So we work with the 3 colleges at the University of Edinburgh, and you see, for example, we have law school, we have creative writing, we have the business school, School of Medicine, we have informatics. This one is very cool. It's AI to assist with coordination of marking, moderation, and feedback for assessment among a large group. Imagine that you have 300 students, and you have 5 markers, 6 markers, no? How can AI helping with the moderation, not with the feedback or the mark, but the actual moderation? That can be very interesting. And many others. I'm gonna do a quick demo now. This is where the value we think it is how we are conceptualizing all the tools. So there are 3 stages. We do the ideation, the build, and the implementation. The stage 1 ideation, basically, we launched the project, it was last year, and then we ran workshops with academics. We had over 100 sign-ups on each workshop, and trust me, many ideas come when you have 100 academics in one room that are actively teaching. Plenty of ideas comes from there. Then they need to submit a pitch proposal, and then the advisory committee selects what proposal to take forward. And with the pitch proposal, the main criteria of the pitch proposal for the projects is originality of proposal. This is probably my favorite one, which is, does it promise to do something genuinely new, important, and interesting that justifies resource and associated energy use? Then we have ethics, we have feasibility, shareability, evaluation, and research. And then the teachers need to, this is at the top of the document, but then they need to complete more sections, no? That they describe the app, they create a sketch, like a UX type of theme, because we work on that during the workshops. After that, we go to the build stage, and these are the phases that we have in the build stage. This is what I share with the teachers for them to understand the whole thing. So basically, I just do an introductory session, then we go to a learning design clinic. Let me go back. Learning design clinic, then we do a discovery meeting, that's the technical, the developers, etc. And then we just do the development. We create the epics, Jira tickets, we do sprints, and in parallel, the teachers are testing, prompting, are looking for prompts that work, etc. So focusing on these 2, what we are doing, this is the learning design clinic. We use this template to think about the idea. Basically, we start there. We have in the pitch proposal is just the summary of the proposal. Then we do the tweet description. This is coming from the ABC Learning Design that probably you're familiar with. Probably our main addition is that we change a bird for a butterfly. You might be wondering why. Then we discuss a lot, what does this app do that you cannot do without it? So what is the justification of having this project? And why, is it worth it to spend resources on it or not? Is it interesting, is not? Then we discuss the learning journey. So basically, what happens before they use the app, what happens during the app, and what happened after the app. This is very different among each course. So as you can see, we contextualize. The app is part of a bigger idea. Then we have other that we normally talk about research, and then we have the action plan. After this, we go with the discovery, which is a standard template. We have some sort of 6 or 7 questions, I don't remember, but the most important part is always here, identify the must-haves, good-haves, and nice-to-haves, because we have very tiny resources, very tiny. I'm going to talk about that later. And we really need to be very cautious. What is really the value added? If, for example, if someone says integration, I'm going to tell you, that's going to take ages to develop. We don't have the time. It's not going to add any value at all in the pedagogy itself, maybe for reporting and other things, but we're focusing on the pedagogy. As soon as that's ready, we start to iterate very quickly, just in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, with teachers, students, and the learning technology community. So this process is very quick. We do it all the time. And I forgot to say as well, that the project leaders, that they have the ideas, there are students, there are learning technologists, and academics. In some cases, they might be just academics. In other cases, students with academics. It varies depending on each project. Enough talking. I'm going to show you what we're building, because I'm talking too much, but I wanted to justify what we're doing. Hello? Yes. So this is one of them. So you'll see that I move a lot, and then this is one of the apps. This is for creative writing, and the idea of this one is, this is from the School of Literature, for a couple of teachers from the School of Literature. And you see here, the app is designed to support your own original creative writing by prompting you to explore new creative directions. I'm going to start. I cannot explain the whole because I don't have time, no? So I'm going to just go very quickly through three apps. So basically here, you have different stages. You can select a genre. I'm going to select absurdist, for example. And then you can choose predefined characters, or you can select a setting. So in this case, I'm going to actually invent my own. I'm going to put Moodle Developer, Moodle HQ is the setting. So now the AI is going to give a prompt about that. And the idea is that you keep going with that. It will take you to different stages to discover different creative styles. So you see here, in the labyrinthine corridors of Moodle HQ, a model developer discovered a pineapple inexplicably balanced atop a typewriter, speaking a series of increasingly perplexing puzzles. If you don't like this, you can try again, and it will tell you another one, or you can change the character, you can change the settings, you can try things until you find something perhaps that you are interested in. So you see here now, frantically attempts to debug a glitch. That's actually probably quite real. Line of code, well, etc. So then you go to the right stage. In the right stage, you have to write up to 450 words. There are some instructions there that I don't have the time to do it, but I'm going to just copy paste this, put it here. So that now you go to the play stage, and here you can also start to see that piece of text in different styles. So in this case, I don't know, I'm going to have a free verse poem. So now, and you can try all the things all the time, no? And see different styles, go back, start again. You have here the free verse poem, and then you can go to the takeaway. So what the takeaway does is take into account all the AI outputs and the human inputs, and it tells you a few, perhaps some directions that you can take your text, no? Like, okay, did you think about that? What if you expand about this other thing? What if you take the character? So this is one example. Another example is client connected. This is for the School of Law, and it is to practice interview skills. I cannot talk about all the instructions as well, but we have here two personas there. But there are many, because there is an admin panel where you can hide or make them visible. So one of them is Kirsty. So if I go to Kirsty and I say, maybe it's too small this, no? I don't know. So you have here the instructions that explains, how you can use this. It's basically for trainee solicitors. They are master students. And here you say, hi, Kirsty, how are you? So you start to interact. No? You can ask many questions, which I'm not going to do, because again, I don't have time. You just can keep going, right? And what you have here, you see the interview limit. So the students need to do a minimum of 10 interactions and a maximum of 25. And when they reach the minimum, there is here a feedback that you can generate. So if I go to the Save Interviews, I already have Mood here, Mood Jordan. And you see here, it gets activated. So you can download the PDF, because you can choose tutor or AI feedback. So the tutor is where they are going to share in class, and they are going to do things there. And then you have the AI feedback. So this is just, it takes into account the conversation based on a rubric, etc. And then you can just read here. So for example, here, what went well in the welcome introduction? You initiated the conversation with a greeting, hi Jordan, which is a good start to establishing rapport. Areas for improvement, you did not introduce yourself or explain the purpose and format of the chat, etc. So it tells you, what you need to improve, what went well, etc. So this is another one. As you can see, it's quite small apps. This is not very... well, then you see, this is another one. This is for the School of Medicine. So what is one that it tries to simulate a hospital. So you can generate a hospital ward with 6 beds and 6 patients. So for example, if I call here MoodleMoot, and I put here neurology, the ward is admitting new patients right now. So it's being kind of generated, but the beds are being assigned and patients are arriving. Well, this takes quite a lot. Takes like 5 minutes to generate, because there is a lot of prompting, so prompting many things. So I already have generated, I already have saved one of the, I only have 5 minutes, one of them. So let me go here, I have it here, MoodleMoot Word, I don't know, I think it's this one probably. Yeah, so we need to improve a little bit the front end, but you see the idea. So you have all the patients, you have the nurse as well that is telling you, I had to say that this is for medical doctors, that they will be on a ward, of course. So it's for Master in General Medicine, I think it is. So you have the nurse that is supposed to, that's what they are supposed to tell you. Then here you have the history of the patient. And then you have Brandon there, so you can speak with Brandon. So if I go here, I can say, hi, Brandon. I don't know, what do you feel? Do you feel? And Brandon will tell you what he feels. And there you go. That's Brandon, which, yeah, I'm not going to read it now. But you can also check the patient medical record. This is what the GPs or in the hospital, what they see. They see the presenting complaint, the history of presenting complaint, the past medical history, the medication history, the family history, the social history, examinations and findings with the numbers. Probably it's a bit small, but... and then you have the investigations as well that you have to do in that particular ward. So it's quite small, but let me just... Maybe you see it a bit better. So you see all of that. You may be thinking, Javier, probably that's hallucinating. How are you making sure that that works? We have GPs that are working on this, and they say that it's very accurate. I haven't found any problem. My God, I only have 3 minutes. I just want to show you one thing. If you want to diagnose the patient, because you already did all the investigations, you have the file, you have everything. So I'm going to say, okay, this one has flu. That's all my knowledge in medicine, as you can see. Nothing else. Flu and headache. So now it's checking the diagnosis. So then it tells you if it's correct or not, and why, and it links to to all I just showed you. And then you can go to the management plan as well, and all my knowledge of medicine is paracetamol. So you can submit the management plan, and it will tell you as well whether that's relevant or not, or correct. I only have 2 minutes. I have to be fast. It's a lot. There's a lot to think there. And you see here why it says it's not appropriate, giving blah, 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 and it tells you many things, and also gives you examples and links, but it needs to format that. I have a problem with hyperlinks. Gonna do that, but it gives you a link to the official guideline. So finally, very quickly, and hopefully have 1 minute for questions, lessons learned. I can talk a lot about this, but one that I really want to say is the one with modest budget, high value. So we are working on this project, just me, part-time. I only work 2.5 days. We have 3 developers. They only work, each of them, 9 hours per week for 6 months, each of them. It's not even a full-time developer. So if you put all of that together, the full stack development is around 4 months if you put holidays and everything. And I think we still are generating some value and helping with long-term institutional capacity, etc. And I can elaborate a lot about this, but I don't have the time. I'm open to questions, but it's only 1 minute and 20 seconds attending to this screen here, so thank you.
So I just actually got some news that the closing session will be 15 minutes delayed due to some technicality. So you'll have a little bit more minutes.
You could tell me that early.
Because that's why they just
God.
told me now. So you have a few minutes more, and Paulius, you'll also have a little bit minutes more extra. So please, if anyone has any questions,
if there are questions,
happy to bring the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, thank you for your beautiful, great presentation. And just as a comment about banning you, it's true that we, I think, swim in the garbage. About what we swim in the garbage of solutions, ideas, etc. So I agree. We just wanted to comment. But my question: do you have like one place when those solutions are placed, or those solutions are then exported to specific universities or institutions? And I'm asking about that because I also would like to know what is the content. The content that is prepared by subject matter expert, and then you use specific models, and you finance those models, or this is different model? Because the model, the model I would understand would be, I have subject matter expert, specific content, I have a platform, I buy access to the model, in AI model, I pay in some specific way, or I use open sources model, etc.
So all the applications live on the internet. They are URL, but are only accessible for University of Edinburgh. So the authentication we use is an SSO that only allows if you have an University of Edinburgh account. And then with the second one, we use a platform called LM that is part of the University of Edinburgh, that is kind of a ChatGPT type interface where you have access to many models in a secure way. Some of them are OpenAI, others are open source. They offer API keys as well, so depending on the use case, we use one, the other. And then the other part is, yes, it's subject matter expertise at the end. So the value here is like we work with the teachers. They know very well their context. They know very well what they need. And we put all of that into the prompting and into everything that happened behind the scenes. And that's it. It's not really something complicated at all. It's simple, really. So that's so about information of patients, and in this particular case, that's the teachers. They know all of that, so they know exactly how it should look like. But this is still AI generated anyway, but has very good guardrails to make sure that it works, because the teachers know that. So you can use examples to do that, and then you are kind of making sure, because you are never sure. In AI, never is 100% correct. So yeah, that's it. Any other?
Yeah, thank you, Javier. As promised, it was really good, so I'm here. And really good examples of that class of cognition-provoking activities that we need to be using AI for to achieve understanding and embodying that I was talking about in my session. These are the kinds of things we need to be doing. We need to build them into Moodle so that we have the Moodle admin environment. We have the user logins and an authentication. We have logging. We have grades. We have even pieces of data that you generate in these things, maybe going to other activities or stores in Moodle and so on. So that's what we should all be working on. And it's so nice to see how far you've got down this. The other thing I was thinking, have you given any thought to... But these are they seem, because they're obviously prototypes and quite new, quite customized for this very particular application and client. Have you given any thought to how to generalize some of this so it can cover more cases?
Yeah, but that's the point. So we really want to have very differentiated apps. It's part of the ownership that the teachers have. That I had a couple of slides at the beginning. So I think you come a bit later. I think you missed that. But we really wanted to have their ownership. And this is how we really are generating this strong engagement with the teachers. Now, we're entering now the phase 2. So what we are doing is a lot of these apps are reusable very easily. We can adapt all of them to many different contexts. And the teachers other teachers that are not part of this, they are telling us, hey, can I use the law app, like the client connected, we call it for, I don't know, an economy, I don't know, whatever, and we can reuse it very quickly because it's React, everything is modular, so we can just change a few things and just deploy the app like this. It's Dockerized, so we have containers, just a different port, boom. That process is super fast. So now we are doing that, we call that part expansion, but we're also creating brand new apps because we know that there are many ideas that are very interesting as well, and we are waiting. So our idea, how is the vision, is that you can almost have like a catalog of apps, like a model, but very focused. And I think in the local stuff, in the ground up local things, is where there is a lot of value there in the AI space. Because overall are kind of generalistic off-the-shelf solutions, and there is very little on kind of more ground up, more localized. But there is a lot to discuss.
It's an exciting time, right?
Many approaches to how we can continue with this.
Yeah, it's amazing how much you could do in 4 months' work. With AI, it's incredible.
And I have to say, nothing is by coded. I mean, we code the whole thing.
Sure.
It's not like we go to, so it's properly, which is.
But you weren't you weren't building cognition engines and AIs behind. That's there. You can just use that for the engine. It's amazing now, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing is the creativity. If you have the idea in a particular context, I think is what really will make I think, and we think as a project will make the difference.